We are about to cross the Golden Gate Bridge. You know, I don't care how many times I cross this bridge. It's awesome every time. There's never a time where I don't cross this bridge and I'm just like, oh, this isn't cool. I'm bored of this. Never happens. Never bored. I thought what we would do today is go visit together a very cliche spot here in the Bay Area. And don't get all worked up about that phrase. Just let me define it real quick. A cliche spot is a spot that has been photographed like millions of times by a lot of people who go there and kind of take the same composition. And of course, there are spots all over the world that people will pilgrimage to take photographs of, and there's nothing wrong with that because those spots most of the time are worthy of that photograph, and we want to get our own image, we want to get our own take on it, we want to get our own capture of it. There is nothing wrong with that. So what do you do when you get to that spot that, you know, is like insta famous, you've seen it a whole bunch and you're going there? Do you just get the same composition? Do you just copy what other people have done? Do you try to find something unique? Is it even possible to get something unique at this point in some of these places? I mean, so the questions are like, you know, a lot. You can ask a lot of questions in a spot like this. Well, today we are going to learn together because I'm going to a spot that I have never been before. I would call it a local cliche spot, and I'm gonna walk you through how I approach shooting in a cliche place. And every time I say cliche place, I'm imagining how worked up some photographers might get at this. And please, like, just hear my heart. No, I'm not trying to trigger you, but I'm just trying to be honest. So let's go check out this spot together and let's make some cliche photos. All right, here's our spot. Okay, so let's chat for just a minute about 3 tips that I typically like to use when I'm approaching a new location that I've seen before online a bunch. I would call it, you know, like some place like this, it's kind of like a cliche spot. But I also would apply this same principle to anywhere that I would shoot multiple times over and over and over again, because even if it's a unique place to you, it can become cliche to you if you keep doing it over and over and over again and kind of doing the same thing. So all of that is going to lead me to my first tip for you today, and that is to completely change up the format that you have already witnessed or experienced and go with something totally different, so it's not even really possible for you to create the same thing that someone else has already created. So knowing that I'm going to be in the city all day today and later I'm leading a photo walk at some places that I've been to very many times, of course I've got what I normally would bring, which is a Leica M11, and I've got a 35 lens on that. However, this is not the lens that I normally have, which is the 35 Summilux FLE. This is a Zeiss 2.8. Got a buddy that uses this lens a lot. I love the way it looks. It's not very expensive, and I found someone local selling it, so I picked it up. So I'm gonna be using this today, but this is a familiar setup. It's a digital camera that I know. It's got a lens focal length that I know and that I'm very comfortable with. Because I'm gonna be going to a lot of the same places and I don't wanna just keep making the same thing over and over, today I brought my Rolleiflex as well. So capturing on this today throughout my time in San Francisco and here at the Marin County Civic Center is going to be a bit different because I'm not gonna be able to do the same thing that I've seen a whole bunch. This will be a unique experience for me, but it'll also let me think about things in a unique way. So my first tip for you, change up the format for yourself or compare it to other things you've seen. Just come at it with a different approach, maybe a different piece of gear. Even on your camera, if your camera does allow you to do different types of crops, come in with a different crop in mind. Just do something so you're not tempted to recreate what you've already seen 100 times. I'm shooting this scene here with like a black and white composition in mind. Okay, tip number two, when you go out to storytell from a location, always try to get something wide, something mid, and something tight because you're human, and as you walk around and you experience things, you don't just experience things from one distance. You're not just like looking at this thing from far away. Like as I'm walking down the hallways, I'm interacting with things that are close to me. I'm passing stuff, which could give me a tight shot. I've got these wide shots as I'm playing with shadows and light. I've got these mid shots as I'm like, somewhat close to some objects like I was with the bench upstairs. Storytelling looks best when it's a variety of images. It represents some breaking up of the same thing over and over and over. So when you go to a location that's been shot a lot, you start to look for compositions that are different in the sense that it's not just that one wide shot over and over and over again. As you pass by things, you might see things that close up might be interesting to you. So be sure to embrace that part of your capture. Get something wide, get something mid, and get something tight. And when you're shooting something like I am today, like just a 35, which is kind of wide, it means that I'm getting close to things to get details, and I'm getting far from things to stay wide. Ultimately, just be a storyteller anywhere you go. Okay, my third and final tip for you is to just embrace non-perfect conditions. Like, don't be someone that only goes out and chases after golden hour in all of these iconic locations. At most, golden hour is 2 events a day at like maybe an hour each. And so if you were to take only 2 hours of daylight to go shoot a location, you're really missing out on the ability to tell your own story when you were there. I am here at this location at 12:30. I got here at noon. I've been here for 30 minutes. It's like the harshest time of day, but it doesn't really matter. I could come back here when the lighting is a little better or whatever, but this is when I'm here, and so I'm not letting harsh lighting or not ideal lighting be the reason why I'm not making photographs and just, working hard to get my own story out of this place. So don't be somebody that just goes out and shoots when the lighting is, perfect and everything is awesome. Go shoot at any time of the day. Go shoot in bad weather, go shoot in harsh lighting, because it's gonna help you tell your own story and not rely on what you've already seen with perfect golden hour captures from other people. Shooting in immensely popular places that have been photographed so many times, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that like you should avoid these things, that you're uncool or cliche if you do. It's not the person that's cliche, it's the place that becomes cliche over time with different photographers constantly capturing it and then posting it on Instagram or wherever their, where their galleries are. So a video like this is not meant to shame anybody. I mean, go do what you love at the end of the day and photograph the things that matter to you and that help you become better and enjoy the craft. But when you go to those places, be very careful not to just copy what you've already seen in others or to just go there and get the same composition that's been done many times, because that doesn't push you forward. It doesn't help you to grow as a photographer and as a creative. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and if you did, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and if you are not subscribed, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.